97.3 Citi FM. Relevant radio, always.
Hi, Leicester City are finally champions. They've knocked and knocked, and they have the crown to go with their title. Over this weekend, they'll get that crown, but it's been an amazing season. That's how we welcome you to match week 37, the preview of the Barclays English Premier League here.
Kupenda Condoms. Love right.
Benjamin Nketsia joins me, and Ben, thank you very much. We have match week 37, but we cannot talk and move on about Leicester. Finally, they are champions. They didn't get crowned at their home ground. It was via Chelsea 2-2 against Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, there are those who make the jokes that Robert Huth and Claudio Ranieri winning the title, just like Chelsea winning the title. So, I mean, it's just a bit of a chip of the old block. So, I mean, for Leicester to have won the title in this fashion is exciting, but I'm sure that they would have wanted to do it at the King Power Stadium against Everton. Nonetheless, champions anyway. And like Claudio Ranieri himself said, this will not happen in 100 years. But that game between Spurs and Chelsea was absolutely fantastic. And what a time for Eden Hazard to decide to show up in the season. I mean, goal drought the entire season. And then he shows up after possibly calling out Tottenham Hotspur and openly declaring that he didn't want them to win the title. He put up a spirited performance. But I guess that's you'd be asking yourself probably, where has this Chelsea been the entire season? The Chelsea that pushed Tottenham Hotspur to the end of the road in order to get a draw at the end of the day. You ask yourself, where has that fighting spirit been? And Goose Hiddink will also be asking himself that same question. Jose Mourinho, he will also certainly be asking himself a couple of questions. But I mean, kudos to Claudio Ranieri and his guys. For Mauricio Pochettino and Tottenham Hotspur, I think that it's been a fantastic season. They certainly have exceeded expectations, and I think they have a solid foundation on which to build on for next season, featuring the youngest squad in the Premiership by average age. I think they've had a fantastic season.
Now, Tottenham Hotspur, they play Southampton, and for Spurs, it's not really done and dusted because Arsenal are just 3 points behind them, and they want to finish ahead of the Gunners. But then let's start off at Carrow Road. Matters at the top are almost clear. It's at the bottom that we don't know where we are going now. Villa are gone. Norwich take on Manchester United in our first game on Saturday, and all of a sudden, Norwich are finding themselves in a very, very difficult place.
Well, you can trace Norwich's poor form to the start of the year, where they picked up just about one victory in about 11 matches, and that's what has gotten them where they are now. They started the league off so well. I mean, they were getting results, they were creating chances, they were scoring goals, and then towards the latter part of the season, they showed this inability to prevent the opponent from getting goals. They looked like a team that lacked confidence in defense, and I mean, we all know that defense is the bedrock of everything that you do in the game of football. They just didn't have it. They were shipping in 5 goals at a point, 3 goals at a point. They could take a 2-goal lead and could still let their opponents back in the window, and then also even let in a winning goal. So I mean, the team have shown that they have a soft backbone across board the entire season, and it's what has driven them into the ditch they are in right now. A game against Manchester United is possibly the worst matchup they could hope for at this point in the season, because Manchester United will be looking at that fixture between Arsenal and Manchester City and will say to themselves that we still have a chance of mathematically making it into the top 4 and making it into the Champions League next season. That will be a big success for Man United on the premise of the sort of season that they've had, if they look back at everything they've done already. So I mean, a motivated United side, a young and hungry United side, coupled with a Leicester City side, or a Norwich City side, sorry, that cannot defend, is really a recipe for relegation, if you ask me. And as things stand now, I really can't find where the inspiration will come from. Alex Neil has never been that sort of charismatic manager. I mean, we all know that he's tactically astute and he can get the best out of his players, but when you are backed into a corner like Norwich are now, it's very hard to motivate players. They need to almost squeeze every bit of juice out of their motivation tank to be able to stay up. I doubt they have that much in their system. United will be too buoyed up with that look at the Champions League and will say to themselves that we can take these guys down. And I mean, barring any miracles, I expect them to lose that game.
We'll see how that one plays out. Games at Carrow Road always end up being very fascinating. So United have lost there a few times. Norwich and Liverpool were involved in a boxing match. Norwich have problems. But then there's this other tie that involves a relegation threatening team, and it's Sunderland facing Chelsea. All of a sudden, Chelsea are beginning to look very nice. On Monday night against Spurs, they were brilliant. Now they travel to Sunderland, who need any kind of win to walk away from the bottom of the table.
You talk about Sunderland responding, and when you are in a situation like they are in now, you need the entire squad to chip in with various levels of performance. But that's what we are not getting now from the entire Sunderland squad. We could point to Wabi Kazri, who was brought in during the January transfer window. He looked like he would be a spark for them going forward, but his fire looks to have dimmed towards the most important bit of the season, and that's a bit strange for me. And I mean, when this happens, you place a lot of burden and a lot of stress on Jermaine Defoe, who we know is already in his veteran years. I mean, we all know that he's already accepted this challenge to lead the rest of this team by example, but he needs performances from the rest of the team. Sam Allardyce has already proven to be a relegation survival specialist. So, I mean, he needs the rest of his units to work together with the leader of the setup. I get the sense that as a team, they want to do this. They just need to find common ground with which to do it. I mean, coming up against Chelsea away from home, the fact that Chelsea have nothing to play for really puts Chelsea in a danger zone in this game and puts Sunderland at an advantage. So I believe that that's basically what will play into Sunderland's hands. The fact that Chelsea have nothing to play for, and they, as a home team, want to survive the relegation battle. Like you said, at this point in the season, any sort of point is valuable, and we've seen that across the past few games they've played, where they've tried to pick up wins, but wins on the road, wins at home, and also trying to scrape through results here and there. I feel that that's what they need to do, but they really need to call on big performances from some of their marquee players in the setup. Yann Villa, French import brought in, I felt that he might have had a bit more of an impact than he's already had. He's had a decent season. I'm not saying that he's been poor, but he should have done a bit more for them. I mean, on the back of the stature of which he came to the English Premier League with. Jermaine Lens, the Dutchman, he's been plagued with injuries and hasn't been able to help much. But you get the sense that if all these guys were fit and firing, maybe Sunderland would have had a different season. Now, they need to forget about all that, and they need to think about, like I said, finding common ground and finding a common motivation to want to stay up. If they can do that, I think that they might at least have an opportunity to take this relegation battle down to the final day of the season.
We'll see how it goes. Sunderland come up against Chelsea, and then our final game of the round is a big one. It's Manchester City versus Arsenal. All of a sudden, Arsenal are in the mix again for Champions League football. They are not too certain where they are going. Manchester City don't feel comfortable. There's West Ham and Manchester United on their necks. This game does have a meaning once again, because earlier in the season, it looked like the two teams were not playing for anything. Now they do have a reason to go at each other. They meet at the Etihad. Arsenal won this game last season. Manchester City want to respond this time round.
Certainly, you talk about both teams winning on different occasions. This, I think, is a match of equals, and I mean, what's a time for the two teams to meet when they have common motivations to want to win this particular match. I mean, Manchester City, they've had a disappointing season, depending on how you want to look at it. I mean, their manager is leaving. They are in the Champions League semi-final, which is a bright spot, but which might turn out to be a curse in disguise for them, depending on how things pan out in that particular encounter. But again, you want to get the sense that Manchester City have this tendency to play with their... They have this tendency to play with the gear on park, where they are just coasting. They don't seem to bring the intensity that you want from a team of their stature. They don't seem to give you the effort that you look for. It's a form of complacency that you have when you have egos in the dressing room. I think that that's basically what has hurt their season. There are guys in the dressing room who feel like they contribute too much and others aren't pulling their weight. There are other people in the dressing room who feel like others feel big in the club and get preferential treatment. These things come back to hurt you. Whereas if you look at Arsenal, you get the sense that there's a more friendly dressing room atmosphere.
Some people think that atmosphere is just too friendly, and that's why they're not able to challenge for the Premier League title.
But unfortunately, this friendly atmosphere is good enough to get you a top 4 slot, or it's good enough to get you in with the Champions League. So, I mean, they might as well take things as they stand now, because they're out of the championship running. So they've played pretty well in the final games of the season. Arsene Wenger, again, under a lot of pressure. Arsenal fans are split over whether the club should keep him or should let the manager go. I think that the players absolutely love Arsene Wenger as a manager, especially with regards to offering opportunity and allowing the team to play with creativity and with freedom. And just because of this, I think managers want to play for Arsene Wenger. That's motivation enough. In the light of fans' outcry for the exit of the manager, in the light of Manuel Pellegrini's impending exit from the club, you just get the sense that Arsenal will have the psychological edge to edge this one.
So that wraps up our games for this weekend. We've got 5 games on broadcast. There's Norwich versus Manchester United. There is a Tottenham Hotspur versus Southampton. That's on Sunday. On Saturday as well, there's a fantastic tie between Sunderland and Chelsea. There's Leicester and Everton as well. And there's Manchester City versus Arsenal. That's our final game on Sunday, and it's coming to you live from the Emirates. Of course, we need you to predict and win and tell us the outcome of one of our games. The prizes are still sitting here. I really don't know why you don't want to win the prizes. They are here. Nice stuff for you out there. But there's a process. I need you to tell me the winner of Manchester City's home game versus Arsenal. Now drop your predictions in the comment section below this video. When you get it right, we will look out for you. We will find you, bring you in here at Citi 97.3 and give you a fantastic prize. It's getting to the end of the season. We need you to come take the prizes and go enjoy them in the off season. So predict and win the winner of Manchester City's home game versus Arsenal on Sunday for a fantastic prize. But before you do that, tune in on Saturday as we serve you the games from 11:45 right up until about 6:30, and on Sunday as we've got great games for you here on Citi 97.3.